This is the Patriots Pregame Show, fueled by Dunkin'.
He's throwing it towards Thornton, left corner of the end zone, caught, touchdown New England.
The Patriots Pregame Show is your source for all the news and information before every game.
He took it to the house again.
Here we go.
The Patriots take the lead.
Patriots Nation, welcome to the Patriots Pregame Show, fueled by Dunkin'.
Hey, good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Patriots Pregame Show, fueled by Dunkin'. Okay, value. You just got a bacon, egg, and cheese sandwich, hash browns, and coffee for $6. And yeah, it's as good as it sounds. You can order now only at Dunkin'. No substitutions. Participation and times may vary. Offer prices varies in California and Hawaii. Limited time offer cannot be combined with other offers. Exclusions and terms apply. All right, we are getting locked and loaded for week 2. Patriots versus the Dolphins, this team in Miami for this one. Of course, I have Paul Perillo and Deuce. I'm Kwani Lunis. Guys, with the team being on the road, you know, spirits were crushed in week 1, of course. But how have you two been able to see that this team has been able to stay reinvigorated and inspired as they head to Hard Rock?
I think it's about, patience and just reinforcing this is game 1 of a new regime, and Josh McDaniels said it this week. This is Drake May's first go around in this system, so I think everyone was disappointed to lose the game and felt for a brief period of time in the first half like maybe you could have had control of it. And I think spirits were high going into the second half. We know what happened from there. So I think this is about tough challenge for a team that's looking to find their identity, and we'll see if those two things intersect today.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be one of the questions, right? How does, the two teams that both had disappointing openers, how does they respond in Miami? Because we can sit there and talk about how much Miami's in disarray with all the stuff that's gone on with Mike McDaniel and being the odds-on favorite to be the first coach on, certainly on the hot seat, but to lose his job even. They're having player-only meetings. And everybody's like, oh, this is great. The Patriots have them right where they want them. Well, what if all that stuff works? What if Miami decides to show some professionalism as opposed to whatever it was they put on the field? I mean, against it, for as much as we're all disappointed with what happened here against Las Vegas last week, Miami's situation in Indy was far worse. So that, I think, would be the big question. Which team responds to the early adversity?
Yeah. Absolutely. And let's take a look back. You'll go back to last week, specifically when it comes to Drake May and some of the stats of his performance. This past last week, week 1. We're gonna let's call that graphic up, please.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's really, and the stats are what they are. You look at that interception there early in the third quarter as kind of the turning point of the game, and that's something that a young quarterback and a young team have to learn to bounce back from. And they went far too quiet after that interception. When Mike Vrabel spent, a lot of the summer talking about the second half and really making efforts to tell his team this is when winning time is. This is when we have to be better, stopping practices after a team session and, having a little bit of a regroup and saying, all right, this is going to be the second half now. So I'm sure Mike Vrabel will continue to preach those things. And, it just gets harder today with being down in Miami in that second half. And, a lot of the guys this week in the locker room, they're from down there. Will Campbell, he's used to playing in the heat. Matt Collins said he loves it. He played for Miami a little bit. But I think when you've been up here and you get a little bit climatized to September, drier weather here in New England, and then you go down there in Miami, it is a little bit of a challenge, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. And, it's no picnic down there. There's a reason why Miami has had a lot of success in those, sort of 1 o'clock September, October home games. Maybe this one isn't going to be quite as stifling as they've had in the past, but it's still going to be in the upper 80s. Yeah. And I think, Mike, you alluded to it. The humidity down there is just different. We did a little intel, you and I, just talking to some people in the organization about, who went to school down in the South. They said, oh, no. Baton Rouge and Miami is not the same in terms of humidity. So even that drastic climate change, from here to Baton Rouge, you would think, oh, we'd melt. Yeah. So you can imagine what it must be like in Miami. So it's not going to be easy.
Yeah. And that being said, you talk about playing against Miami overall. Historically, when you look at the Dolphins, for one, Tua Tagovailoa 7-0 against the Patriots, which in itself already should be intimidating. But overall, just the way that, like you mentioned, this team is going to want to bounce back after an embarrassing loss last week. The Patriots' last win in Miami 2019. So this is a game where they should be able to hopefully break that trend, because that's not a good
A
one.
lifetime ago.
And,
That is a lifetime ago,
well,
pre-COVID.
Speaking of lifetimes ago as well, I mean, this has been a place that's haunted this franchise from the beginning of it. And they literally went from 1970 to the AFC Championship in the 1985 season, which was early 1986. So, nearly 16 years without a win down there in Miami. So it's always been a challenge for this franchise down there. That said, I think it's a great opportunity for Drake May today. We've been waiting for him to, maybe have that signature game, or at least a signature comeback, or, just something to build around today. And once we get into the keys, I'll talk about that a little bit more. But I think we can talk about the defense. We can talk about everything, the heat. But bottom line, and Paul and I talked about this all summer, it comes down to this offense and starting to find a groove and getting Drake May comfortable. And if that starts to happen, I think that will pad the result a little bit if it doesn't go the Patriots' way, or it could help them get a win today.
Yeah. I wrote on.
Yeah, in the last 2 games for Tua, 7 touchdowns, 1 pick,
Yeah,
too, against
last
the
one was
Patriots.
brutal.
So, yeah, he lit them up last year down in Miami. So, I know early on when he first started, this streak, it was 2-0, 3-0, and people were like, yeah, but he's not even doing anything. Like they're playing. It's just, well, now it's, last year it's like 29 for 40 with 4 touchdowns, no picks. So he's been pretty good. And you look at the scores of the games, and a lot of them really are not all that close. 31-17, I think it was 32-15, 34-15 last year. So, again, what kind of motivation does Miami have? If someone could give me that, because I think that this, I got a hot one for you. Hot take. Mike, this one's in take development. As Fred would say.
We're just going to let it fly?
Okay, where's my one? All right.
That was my fire emoji.
Someone's going to win this game by multiple scores.
Yeah, that's
breaking
Paul's thing
news.
all week.
Oh
Someone's
my
going to win this
gosh.
game by 2 scores or more. I don't really feel this is going to be a close game. I think if Miami shows up to play, the Patriots are going to have a hard time. If the Patriots can take advantage of Miami's vulnerability, the Dolphins are going to have a tough time. But I don't think it's going to come down to a last-second field goal. As much as I want Deuce's prediction, which we'll get to later, to come true.
The angrier team will win then, it sounds like, on your end. Well, you just set it up perfectly. Let's get into the keys of the game.
You've waited all week for it.
The whole team's in the locker room right now just listening to this, waiting to hear what you're going to say.
Here are this week's keys to the game.
All right, Paul, you were talking about Tua, so I'll let you take the key for this one.
I think
to begin
that
with.
Tua, in large part, is the key to this game. And I think if you want to do what you've been doing against him and sort of containing him and, trying to take away his first read and all that stuff, that's fine. But he's been able to do it. I think you got to get after him.
Yeah.
I think you have to make him uncomfortable. We all know about his concussion history, and I'm not making light of that when I say this, but he's not going to be wanting to hang in the pocket and take extra hits. I know no quarterbacks want to do that, but his concussion history is what it is. So I thought Indianapolis had some success last week, sort of, Xavier Howard talking about, muddling the middle of the field. So, maybe try some of that stuff, which is a little bit of a departure of the way the Patriots have been playing a little bit in terms of a lot of zone. I mean, a lot of man last week with a lot of blitzing. Maybe you got to blitz in a different way this week, or maybe just find a way, Mike, to get after him with that front four and get those edge guys. But I think if you can get after Tua and get his timing disrupted, then you can keep the score down, and that's how the Patriots maybe force a mistake or two.
Yeah, just a couple notes on this from the inactives. James Daniels and Austin Jackson, the right side of their line starting last week was put on IR this week. So they will have 2 new starters on that side of the line, which, the Patriots certainly looking to attack that with Harold Landry. But one piece for the Patriots, Keon White popped up in the injury report with the sickness this week, an illness. Not sure what that is, but he will not play. So we'll see if maybe some of these young guys maybe get a little bit of an opportunity. Elijah Ponder being that guy, probably the next man up. Anthony Jennings as well, talked to him in the pocket. But, Paul, when I watched that game against Indianapolis, it was such a contrast between watching last year's game against the Patriots, where it was just on point, like it often is with Tua against this Patriots team, that he throws it to a tiny window, and then all of a sudden Jalen Waddle just zooms through, grabs the ball, and goes. Last week they looked off. Tua had confidence after the game. Now, there's a lot of factors. Like you said, there's team meetings going on. It feels like they might be on the ropes a little bit. There's injuries added to that as well. Does that all add up to enough opportunity for the Patriots? That's the huge question that we'll see in about a half hour here, or an hour or so.
Right.
Yeah. What your key?
My key. So I'm going to stick on the offensive side of the ball and, go with the old adage, throw to score, run to win, something we talk about here a lot. We get away from establishing the run. We get about, get out there and throw the ball on these guys. I just thought last week Indianapolis was pretty balanced. They weren't, couple explosive plays here and there, more so in the passing game. So again, it just comes down to Drake. I think if this game, were to be close and go against what Paul's saying, and the Patriots were to say lose 36-35, and Drake has a few touchdowns, and you feel like the offense is starting to click, and maybe they just lose it at the end or something like that, be willing to swallow that. Whereas if the offense continues to look kind of stagnant and up and down, and then when we get into crunch time, they kind of wilt a little bit, that's not what I want to see today. So come out throwing, put some points on the board, and then try to get that run game going, with Ramondre Stevenson and Travion Henderson and even Antonio Gibson, who I think, always runs hard. So use that formula to get the game in control. And to Paul's point, maybe encourage Miami that, hey, this ain't going to go your way again this week. Maybe you can start packing those golf clubs up early. Did they do that in football, Paul? That's always a hockey thing. Pack the golf clubs up if you get.
I mean, if you live in Miami, I imagine you.
When hockey's over, see, Mike, when hockey's over for you, it's usually like April or May. You can go out golfing.
Yeah.
When football's over, it's like the middle of January.
That's true. Where are you gonna go?
Like Monty said, I mean, you're in Miami.
You're always golfing.
Get your parkas out. You're going home.
Right. We're going to opposite commute here.
But I think your point about what the Colts did last week. Yeah, they got a lot of explosive plays in the pass. Daniel Jones threw for 272 yards or whatever it was. And the running yards piled up, but it wasn't overly efficient.
Yeah.
But it just shows you the importance of just continuing to pound away. And I think the Patriots didn't do that in the first game. So maybe even if it's not as successful as you might hope, I think, listening to Josh McDaniels this week, I'd be very surprised if they got that far out of balance. Again, I think it was 18 runs, and I think it was 53 dropbacks, counting the sacks and whatnot, sacks and scrambles. So I think they would need to run the ball a little bit. I mean, obviously they need to run it better than they did last week, regardless of how many times they try. But they need to do it a little bit more often, too.
Yeah, and my key ties into kind of both of yours. Staying afloat, I had to get a water pun in there. But to your point, Paul, about the Dolphins defense, and of course, they want to come back from this game as well, but they allowed 156 rushing yards to the Colts in that season opener, again, against Daniel Jones. Okay, interesting.
This coming from a Giants fan, too.
And I made
you love me some Daniel Jones.
Every week.
The dress is a little darker blue this week. It's not quite
Giants blue. I had the Patriots blue today. It actually matches the graphic, so I can make sure you guys don't allege me any further. But to that point, the Patriots also struggle to establish that offense, and that's exactly what we want to see. Drake May needs to establish the run early. The New England needs to find that balance, stay consistent on offense. Like we mentioned last week, the slow early game was not it. And if you know that the Dolphins also want this win, you're going to need to ramp up the offense as soon as possible. Stephon Diggs, get him some more receptions, and having that balance, keep Miami guessing, because clearly if they had that terrible of a first game, then maybe you can keep them on your toes by just throwing in some confusion.
Well, I think if there's one thing that I've learned over the last couple of years of watching, back-to-back 4-win seasons, it's how critical fast starts are for teams, teams trying to find their way, or teams that are struggling early in the season, teams trying to find their way. And, that's a great way to get the ball rolling, not only to start to build confidence on your side of the ball, but to maybe start to insert some doubt into the Dolphins. And, I'm sure they've heard that they own the Patriots down there, and 2-7-0 versus the Patriots. And, maybe that would help if it starts not going their way, that, all right, wow, we're really in trouble down here.
Exactly.
And, that's what you're hoping. And Paul's hammered it all week, that, the Patriots get a good start and really just establish themselves out of the gate.
Yeah. And you said we're going to go behind the enemy line soon, but you were talking about that game versus Indy. What do you think the Dolphins are going to have to do adjustment-wise for this one?
Well, I think they have to get after Drake May. That would be my biggest thing, and trying to find a way to do that. They're banged up, too, in the secondary. They've got a couple cornerbacks who are also out, including Storm Duck. Queuing Paul up for Storm Duck. But,
I looked that up, by the way. It's his real name.
Is it short for something? Stormathan?
No, he was named after a character in The Bold and the Beautiful.
Oh, wow. Big soap opera fans, the Ducks.
Tune into the pregame show. Learn stuff.
We love that.
But I do think, when you look at the defensive front, Jalen Phillips, Zach Sealer, who they just re-signed to a deal. Chop Robinson, young guy in his second year, has got some juice as well.
Played well last year against the Patriots.
Yeah,
by
Bradley
the way.
Chubb, we'll see how his injuries stack up. But, even Kenneth Grant, big body on the inside from Michigan, that
that's
guy
the
coming
strength.
out.
I mean, they're missing a lot.
Yeah.
Mike talked about the offensive line and his keys. You're talking about Storm Duck and the secondary being banged up. They have some good players in the front seven, and if Miami's going to have a bounce back defensive performance, it likely will be because of those guys that Mike just mentioned.
Yeah. And on the opposite end with the Patriots, you guys were in the locker room. You know, Mike Vrabel, we heard him speaking, and the accountability that's being had within this Patriots locker room. What are you hoping that those messages throughout the week will mean at Hard Rock today?
Well, I just want to make sure that, they stay on point and don't get discouraged, because when you're a team that hasn't won a lot, it's very easy, and we've talked a lot about it with Miami. Patriots get a lead. Maybe Miami continues to say, well, it's not happening this year, and just make it easy for you. The same could be said for Miami right now.
Yeah.
They're in their locker room saying, we beat these guys 7 times in a row as long as we have our quarterback. So let's make sure we get a lead on them and have them continuing to question whether or not they're as improved as they thought they were. So I just think stay on message, and Mike Vrabel keeps hammering the point of got to eliminate the stuff that gets you beat. They made too many of those things that get you beat last week. They got to cut back and make sure Miami earns it.
Yeah, one thing I'll be looking at today too is Christian Ellis and Robert Spillane in the middle of the defense. I thought, last week there was some space inside. Our colleague Evan Lazar talking a lot about taking away the middle of the field this week. Robert Spillane, Christian Ellis, 2 guys who can run pretty well. Do they have a beat on Tua? This is a different look at the second level defensively for the Patriots going against Tua Tagovailoa. So does it make a difference this week? Does this aggressive style get him out of his early down rhythm? I think that's one thing that stood out from that game last year, was that he was comfortable, and he's going to find his receivers when he's comfortable. So get him uncomfortable, get him off his first read, and hopefully good things happen for the Patriots defense.
Absolutely. Do we want to take a call before we go behind enemy lines real quick?
Sure, why not?
Let's see. Let's see how Daniel in Maryland is doing. Good morning, Daniel. Daniel, are you with us still?
Daniel.
I'm sorry, Daniel. Call back, please.
Patty will be there.
Patty's always here. Patty, how are you doing?
Yeah, I'm always here. What's going on? Good morning, ladies and gentlemen.
Good morning.
How are things out in Agawam?
Right. Nice. Very nice day. Had a nice breakfast, and hopefully getting ready to watch a win. Before I start, though, I got to give a couple quick shout-outs. First one is to Chester in Portland. Great to hear you on Thursday, buddy. Keep calling in. We love the energy. And the shout-out of the week goes to Mr. Paul Perillo. Paulie.
What did I do?
With one of your I worked with one of your old friends this past week, a gentleman by the name of Jimmy Perotti. He told me to tell you to say hello.
Jimmy Perotti.
I thought it was Jimmy Karate.
Absolutely.
That was cooler. Wow.
Jimmy Perotti.
Karate man. He brought bruise on the inside.
Does he do karate?
No.
That's a lost cause.
Jimmy Perotti, good kid. Good kid. I haven't seen him in about 30 years, but good guy.
Yeah,
played a lot of football games with Jimmy.
So my 2 questions for the day are, we saw during training camp in the preseason that Drake may come out, have a bad day, and come back the next day and kind of turn it around. Do we see that? And just in terms of covering Tyreek Hill, do you think they stick Marcus Jones on him with help over the top? And I'll take it off the air, guys.
Thank you.
It's a good question. I think
whatever the plan is, it's going to be help. They're not going to let one single guy handle Tyreek Hill.
I mean, but with Waddle too. I mean, there's no easy way to say it. Carlton Davis. I really like him as a physical man corner, but if he's stuck chasing slants, he's going to be in trouble. So, I am interested to see kind of the defensive plan that they come up with if they do spin it up a little bit. I just think Indy's going to be a zone defense, but they play like 80% zone last week. So I don't know if that's the answer. I really don't, but it wouldn't totally surprise me to see them come out and lean a little bit more into that without Christian Gonzalez and not really having quite all the matchup pieces, but we'll see.
So I'll tell you something that would worry me with Marcus Jones and Tyreek Hill. Not so much the speed, but Tyreek Hill is not a big guy, but he's a really good contested catch guy.
Yeah.
They throw the ball up to him down the field, and if you don't have size, he's going to jump over you and catch it. I've seen him do it before. He did it last year to him, I believe. But that would worry me with Marcus Jones because of his size. I don't know. That to me, Tyreek Hill is a different animal.
Yeah, I mean, this just kind of dawned on me, but is this the first time, and maybe he was injured at some point, but is this the first time the Patriots have faced Tyreek Hill without Jonathan Jones? I mean, I remember him famously being on him in like 17, 18.
True,
I mean, I'm not sure you probably find a game or two maybe that John Jones was out, but just a different, unique challenge. And heard the stat this week that Tyreek hasn't had a 30-yard pass, caught a 30-yard pass in over a year. That's something the Patriots will need to try to continue, giving up 9 X plays. They call them X plays last week, Paul. I don't know if you noticed that. That's short for explosives. I've never heard that before.
Yeah, I made fun of that a lot.
New
last
terminology.
week. You
All of a sudden,
you
there's
obviously
just-
weren't paying attention to me.
Coming out of the locker room, I don't know if you guys remember, like last week we were on the post game show. Everyone's like, X plays. He's like, I'm like, everyone's talking
You're like,
about
what
X
does that
plays. Like
mean?
they've been knowing about this all the time. And,
Right.
like, so
You're not,
it's like,
you're not a ball knower.
I appreciate Mike Reese writing it out today, being like, for explosive. But they also, had a 19-yard play too. So 10 plays that were, big chunk plays, especially coming down near the end in critical situations. So there's no question. It's a very, very narrow route to victory if you're going to give up big plays like that to this team. And you talk about getting a good start and not letting the Dolphins get confidence. One way they're going to get confidence is if they get Tyreek Hill going with a big play early on. Then they're like, see, last week was an anomaly.
Right.
All this talk, we're back, let's roll. So containing him is a huge key as always.
Don't let him get any X plays. And
Right.
if you want to call in, by the way, 855-PATS-500. Excuse me. Christian in LA. Good morning.
Hey, you guys. Good morning. Good football Sunday to you.
Hey, Christian.
I'm not so worried. And I know I'm kind of the opposite of everybody else. We've not beaten the Fitton. We've not had a good time down there. We don't have Jonathan Jones, our fast guy, to match up. But I kind of see something happening with us. I see this front that we have, which is different than any front that we've had when we faced Miami with Milton Williams and some of the with Spillane. So I'm really looking for us early to get after Tua, knock him off his rhythm, and be able to stop these short mid cuts that we don't seem to be able to stop. If we can get up on these guys at least 7 points early, I think we can discourage them because they're the ones falling apart. So usually I would be really critical on us and what we've done last week and what I see us not being able to do. But I woke up with a crazy feeling today. We are going to beat the Fish, and it's going to be the turnaround for the season. I'm not going to stop being critical, but I do think we're going to win today.
All right.
That's
you,
just
Christian.
crazy thought.
Christian,
Nice.
we're going to win, baby.
Say exactly what everybody said all week. Miami's in disarray.
Here we go.
Breaking.
Okay.
We'll
All right.
see.
Deshaun is in Virginia. What do you have to say, Deshaun?
Hello, guys. How you guys doing?
Hey.
Good.
Good. You know what's definitely like Patriots people could talk about like what the Colts and stuff did last week, but we can make a case that the Colts have a much better team. I mean, so the philosophy could actually work much better because they might have better players to actually suit what they did to Miami, unlike what the Patriots may have. I talk about with the Bucs the entire time for years, like some teams, like they have enough talent around to make even bad quarterbacks look good, even though it's not sustainable. With our team, so much has to happen in order for things to work. That's just my look on it.
Yeah. I mean, look, my opinion is that certain games just unfold in a certain way, and it becomes a unique kind of game that you're like, that's not going to be how it goes all year for this team. And, look, the Colts scored on every single possession they had. The Colts turned it over on their first 2. So, like, before you look up, they're down by 3+ scores. Just changes the whole dynamic of the game, and I think that's part of the reason why Tua was kind of like not really that fazed by it. Now, we'll see. I mean, maybe it can become a trend, but they played so badly. The Colts were just flawless. Daniel Jones was on. Sorry, Kwani, that might have been hard for you to watch. So it's a kind of a one-off to me. And and I've seen Patriots teams in the past where I've watched games that have been like, they're not that good, but like this wasn't. They're better than this.
I'm with you, Mike. It's if Tua turns the ball over 3 times in the first 4 possessions, the Patriots are going to make them look. The Dolphins look exactly the way the Colts made them look. That's just the way it goes. I think Indianapolis is sort of an intriguing roster. I do think they have some players, but did anybody think that the Colts were significantly more talented than the Patriots
Oh, no.
going into last week?
I don't
Or is that
think
just
so.
last week the Colts put a beat down on
numbers,
Miami
yeah.
and the Patriots lose at home to a thoroughly average at best Raiders team, and now all of a sudden the Colts are significantly more talented? Like I said, I think the Colts have some intriguing talent. If Daniel Jones can, this isn't the Colts pregame show, but if Daniel Jones can play at a level approaching what he did last week, yeah, I mean, it's maybe an 8, 9, 10 win team that could sniff around the playoffs, sure. Yeah. But I don't think anybody looked at them as like this really talented roster that was a quarterback away heading into the season. Now, maybe that's changed. Who knows?
All right, we have calls coming in, but I want to get to one of the emails that we just got from Jeremiah. He says, do you think we'll see Diggs, Butte, and Hollins to start the game so that May can have some big targets to help him deal with the accuracy that he's trying to get into?
Not really. I mean, I kind of see Hollins and Booty kind of playing the same role a little bit, so I might see Pop Douglas in there, but I'm not sure exactly what they'll roll out to begin with. I mean, it could just as easily be 2 tight ends with Hunter Henry and Austin Hooper. But those are the guys. I mean, there's no Efton Chisholm. I mean, everybody you're kind of talking about, they're all going to play. I don't know who's going out first, who's going to play the most. We'll see how the game unfolds.
Yeah, I'm with Mike. Maybe you get a little Kyle Williams at some point, but
yeah.
The one thing, it was with Jeremiah, I think, Hollins is very versatile. He can play all 3 spots. So if you wanted to try to, and I understand what he's thinking, when Drake is coming out, admittedly a little bit hyped and maybe a little high with some of his throws, if you throw Hollins in the slot for Douglas, does that give him a little bit of a bigger target? So it's basically Hollins over Douglas. It's not anything to do with Booty or Diggs, who are both sort of average sized anyway. Hollins is big.
Yeah.
Right. Hollins is a bigger target. And he can play, even though he's bigger. I know you think of slot guys as, the small, shifty guys, but Hollins can play in the slot. I think he's better suited to the outside. I would be surprised. I'm with Mike. I think they go with their regular 3 guys that we've seen almost all summer, pretty much every time that they open up a team period. It's Diggs, Booty, Douglas.
Yep.
You actually teed up our next email. You can also email us at podcast with an S at patriots.com. This one is from Aaron in North Wales. He says, I've heard a lot of talk on Twitter, or X if you call it that the fans want more Kyle Williams and less Mac Hollins. I'm on the opposite side of this today. Anyway, Miami secondary is hardly the tallest, and with Hollins' height, I think it could cause huge problems for them with the deep contested balls. What do you two think, Williams or Hollins?
I go back to the theme at the top of the show. I'm patient with Kyle Williams right now. I mean, just, very limited action. I think he's had a couple snaps toward the end of the game. Often how it goes for rookie receivers. We've seen, little flashes here and there, but, it hasn't been overwhelming from him so far.
Yeah.
So I think we just need to, accept that Mac Hollins has been in this offense before. He has an element of size that the other receivers don't have, like Paul pointed out. So I was surprised last week that he wasn't a little bit more involved, because all summer long when he's in there, Drake's looking his way, fades down the sideline, couple big plays in Minnesota that he was looking for him. So maybe look for him to get a little bit more involved in this game.
There were a lot of things to be disappointed about offensively in the opener. And I think Hollins' is sort of invisibility was at or near the top of the list. Yeah, because of what Mike said. He had seemed to be a guy that were going to work in a handful of plays. Mike, as soon as the Patriots got sort of like around the 25-yard line, Mike, here comes a deep fade to Hollins, and we never saw it.
No. And I'd say, too, part of the getting him involved, I think he has good energy. And, I think when he starts playing well and starts feeling it, guys can kind of feed off that energy. He famously, in Minnesota, punted a ball into the stands after scoring a touchdown after, kind of a rough start for the Patriots offense. And, that gave them a little bit of a spark. So I do think that he's the kind of guy that maybe can bring that spark here in this game if you get him involved.
Yeah, I'm going to get to one more email. We have Mike in South Carolina. The headline for that one, Dolphins are a dumpster fire. So he says that I hope the film study and heavy last week from Indy. I know playing down at Hard Rock has been the Pats' Achilles heel for the past 3 or 4 seasons. But that being said, Miami is a dumpster fire with McDaniel probably on the way out. Okay, guys, it's game 1. I would like to see the Pats eliminate the penalties and mental errors from week 1, of course. And I agree with Paul. Lots of points in this one. Big win for the Pats, 42-10.
See, it's going to be a tough day for him if the Dolphins kick into gear and they play well.
I didn't predict a 42.
Too much? Whoa, too much.
Sometimes
Putting words in your mouth.
I agree with Paul, and I'm like, I don't think I said that.
1,000 to nothing.
I think the Fire McDaniel banner is going over the arena right now, by the way.
It is, and look, and this is the NFL, and Paul and I talked about it this week. This is what we love.
Exactly.
It's week to week. We're terrible. We're amazing. We're terrible. We're amazing.
It's a soap opera. This is why the league is so popular. It's so easy to gamble on because it's once a week, and everything that happens on Sunday gets dissected and analyzed ad nauseum for a whole week.
Yep.
Until they play again.
Yep.
And that's why
so it makes it the best and the worst.
And the worst, right?
Well, this game today, I don't think there's going to be much gray area. I said during the week, maybe there'll be kind of a weird game that unfolds and some strange things will happen, and you'll kind of put up to that. But generally speaking, and, even in line with what Paul said, it's either going to be the sky is completely falling in New England or they've completely turned it around. So, that'll be the overreaction in either way, and that's what the fun of it is. But I just don't agree that I'm not putting the Dolphins' final nail in their coffin. They're dead. They're not even going to roll out here today. I got to see it first to believe it.
Yeah, I'm with you 100%. All right, let's take it back to the phone lines, 855-PATS-500. We're going to go back to L.A. Nelson is there. Hi, Nelson.
Hey, good morning. Good morning, guys. How are we doing today?
Doing well.
Hey, Nelson.
Hey, I just want to say they gotta let May do his thing.
Yes.
Get his mojo going. His run, and I think we're gonna win 24-17.
All right.
24-17.
Right.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Ooh, I just hung up on the wrong
Thanks, Nelson.
person. Sorry to the person I just hung up on. Please call back. We're going to actually take a quick break, so that gives you time to call back in. First, we want to talk about Patriots Pregame Show. It's being sponsored by the Massachusetts 250 campaign, commemorating a history of possibility. You can plan your revolutionary weekend at massachusetts250.org. And also, based right here in New England, Brunt Workwear makes work boots and apparel that are built for the job site. Their gear is comfortable, durable, and named after the real workers in the trades that help design it. You can even try Brunt out on the job, and if it doesn't blow you away, they'll let you send it back. You can save $10 on your first order at bruntworkwear.com/Pats or with the coupon code PATS. We will be right back.
Without good blocking, your team's not going anywhere. Cisco blocks cyber attacks for customers around the world, including the entire Fortune 100 and the NFL. Because when the game is on the line, and it's always on the line, the NFL relies on Cisco.
It ain't my dad's razor, Dad.
Hey, watch it.
It's from Gillette Labs. This green bar releases trapped hairs from my face.
Game changer.
While the Flex, this contours to it. So the 5 blades can get virtually every hair in one stroke. For the ultimate Gillette shaving experience.
The best a man can get
is Gillette Labs.
Without good blocking, your team's not going anywhere. Cisco blocks cyber attacks for customers around the world, including the entire Fortune 100 and the NFL. Because when the game is on the line, and it's always on the line, the NFL relies on Cisco.
It ain't my dad's razor, Dad.
Hey, watch it.
It's from Gillette Labs. This green bar releases trapped hairs from my face.
Game changer.
While the Flex, this contours to it. So the 5 blades can get virtually every hair in one stroke. For the ultimate Gillette shaving experience.
The best a man can get
is Gillette Labs.
Without
Join the show by calling in at 855-PATS-500 or email at podcast@patriots.com. Now, back to the Patriots pregame show fueled by Dunkin'.
Yes, welcome back to the Patriots pregame show fueled by Dunkin'. We're going to take it right back to the phone lines. Ryan in Tennessee, I think I hung up on you, so sorry about that.
He gets a lead off the next segment.
Good morning, Ryan.
No problem. Good afternoon, y'all.
Oh, it is afternoon. You're right.
It is. It's morning for me, but afternoon for you guys. But anyways, it's hard not to overreact to a week 1 loss when, you have such high hopes for the team and everything like that. But I was actually really encouraged by Drake and how well he played, especially in the first half, the command he had. And, just my personal thoughts, if 30 for 46 for 290 yards is a bad game by our standards, then I can't wait to see his good game. It really just came down to a few plays. So I got a lot of confidence in our defense, and just looking forward to the game today. And thank you guys for everything you do, and have a good rest of the day. Go Pats.
Thank you, Ryan. Go Bats.
Appreciate it.
I love the positivity. He must love Gardner Minshew. if that was a good performance. Yeah, I mean, I'm willing to do that. Week 2, I like that. I like Ryan's call. I don't agree, as you know, Mike, because we did a whole week's worth of shows. I'm not necessarily, and I agree with the evaluation of the first game, but let's not just say, oh, what's changed? It's the same guy. It's the same thing, and like he's regressed, which I heard a lot of this week. Let's kind of relax and let it unfold for a few weeks. And if we're in the middle of October and we're wondering where the points are, then I think it's time to sort of say, like, has he progressed? But like one game where he was a little uneven, like I don't think he was as good in the first half as some people are making him out to be, and I don't think he was as bad in the second half as some people are making him out to be. He's got a ways to go.
Yeah.
And I'm willing to ride it out a little bit, see how it goes. I like the positivity of that call.
Yeah.
That was
It's unlike me. I'm usually worried about everything.
That's
Mike
true,
will tell
yeah.
you, I'm like the typical New England guy. I always think something bad's going to happen right around the corner.
You're like, oh, I guess I should have been worried about
Take a
that
deep
all
breath.
along.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what Mike says. He goes, I don't know why I wasn't worried about that, but I am now.
And now I am. I would just say on Drake, though, it's you just got to watch the easy throws, and I think that was the big topic this week of getting off to a good start. Again, he got an easy completion to make to Pop Douglas, make the throw, and he's capable of all those things. It's just you're dealing with a whole different animal now, where past quarterbacks you had post Tom Brady here, it was wondering if he could do it, if he had the athletic juice to actually get the ball there, or you knew he wasn't really going to be able to scramble. And now with Drake, he's got all the tools. So a little bit of patience with him, but there's no question he's got to take the layups and be able to hit those. I love his aggressiveness down the field. I'd like to see more of that.
I'd like to see more of it.
I don't know if the Raiders, the way the Raiders played last week with that Seattle system and keeping everything in front of them, if that was conducive to Drake playing that way. But I've always been impressed with his ability to chuck the ball down the field, and Booty's there and Hollins. So maybe they make some big plays today.
We're going to get to some more calls and emails in just a second. But first, let's talk about confidence. It's important to have when you're on the road with Bridgestone tires on your car, truck, SUV, or minivan. You're riding on tires you can trust. Bridgestone tires are engineered to give you peace of mind so you can focus on enjoying the journey. So whether you're on your morning commute, a cross-country road trip, or just relaxing on a Sunday drive, Bridgestone tires will be with you wherever life's roads may lead. Bridgestone solutions for your journey, available now at Sullivan Tire. Also, Pats fans, game day is here, actually, and so you should be stocking up. Grab a refreshing Pepsi Zero Sugar 12-pack right now because tailgating deserves Pepsi. All right, we're going to take it back to the phone lines. Brad is in California. Brad, what do you have to say?
Hey, I was wondering, because you guys had mentioned you'd still be kind of positive if they came out with a loss, but it was sort of similar to the Jets-Steelers type situations where they put up a lot of points, but they couldn't get it done in the end. Would you still feel that same way if it came as a consequence to Drake maybe putting up a bunch of touchdowns, but also getting 2-3 picks to go along with it?
No,
Right.
that wouldn't be a good offensive performance.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like, Brad, how about this one? Because Mike and I have actually talked about this a little.
We gamed it out.
Yeah, if it's one of those, let's say they're down, they're down 4, they're down 31-27 with 3 minutes left in the game. Drake May takes over, takes them down the field. They score a touchdown with like a minute left, to go ahead. 34-31, and then Miami goes down in the last minute and scores. I think you could look at that and say, all right, maybe we're just not quite ready to win these games yet. Get a lot of new guys, a lot of young guys. But our quarterback took a huge step forward today, and our offense took a huge step forward today. We went from 13 points to 34 points on the road in a place that we haven't played well. I think you could take a lot of positives from that. Now, that's a very specific sort of hypothetical.
Yeah, right.
All right. But, yeah, if they turn the ball over 4 times and find a way to score that many points, it probably was because the other team turned the ball over too, and you didn't really play as well offensively as you should. Eliminate the stuff that gets you beat, right? Mike Vrabel's mantra.
That's it.
Thanks, Brad. All right, so we have another email. Let's talk about offense a little bit more. The subject line, repeat Booty performance. Good afternoon, guys. Do you think Booty can repeat his performance last week, considering he's probably going to be matched up against Hack Jones? Yes, this is on purpose. I think he will. Thank you, Kyle from Pembroke.
Well, I'm not sure Jack Jones. I mean, I think Jack Jones is probably their best corner right now, right?
Yeah.
Wouldn't he get Diggs?
Yeah. He's a wild card though, so we'll see.
Yeah, you never know what either one of those guys is going to do. I would look to exploit Jack Jones's aggressiveness today.
Oh, sure.
Does that make sense?
100%.
You know,
100%.
line someone up for a double move for him, whether it's Booty or Diggs. I don't care.
Yeah.
Double move on him.
Yeah, Mac Hollins maybe getting him a little antagonized stick. I'd like that too. But I would just say this: Kayshon Boutte had a 100-yard game last game of last season and in the first game of this season. So technically, he has kind of done it in back-to-back weeks. I don't know if you can necessarily count on that or expect that.
What a stretch that is.
2 in a row, Paul. Here's where we're at. But I'd love to see Diggs get involved. I'd love to see a little bit more of the connection with Pop Douglas that we saw over the summer. That felt a little bit like they weren't quite clicking with Drake there in the first game. But we're talking a lot about these guys. Those 4 receivers, we've seen moments from all of them. Be cool to see them be able to put it together. I don't think I would bet on Booty week in, week out. I think he's going to have his games and he's going to have his moments, but I think it's going to be up to guys like Diggs and Douglas to be the real engines who make the majority of the catches.
Yeah. Now, would you expect to see maybe a little bit more out of Diggs? You know, do you think maybe he got his feet wet last week? He looked comfortable.
Sure.
You know, he was good.
Yeah.
I thought it was decent. Considering he's coming off a torn ACL.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
I thought that was a good
And playing on the rain. With
a good starting performance.
Yeah.
Would you expect more?
I hope
Absolutely.
so. I hope so. Yeah. I mean, hard to have expectations, but my hope
is hard
that
to have expectations. Like, people ask me questions, and I'm like,
Don't
I
have
expect
them.
them to, and
Then
I'm
you
like,
won't be
don't make a mess.
disappointed.
to me, like the guy that wrote in with the whole 3 receiver set.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Maybe get Hollins out there instead of. I could see it. Like,
Anything's
anybody
possible.
can sell me on anything right now.
All right, before we get to the over-unders, I wanted to read this from Dan in Virginia, mainly because he welcomed me to the show, and he's very kind.
Good.
But he started with, good day, socialators. But the question at the end is, if the Patriots lose today, would your concern about the result be lessened because the Patriots always struggle in Miami, or is it just an excuse-making overall, especially how the Dolphins are big up?
Paul Perillo, trademark. I have to see.
I have to see how it looks.
To see how it looks. Don't ask me to make a prediction on how I'm going to feel. But
if it looks the same as all the other losses down there, I'm not going to sit there and say, well, that's the way they always play down there.
I know. Well, and even though they have, it's hard to like pin it all on that because a lot of those losses, like, you know, you have the failmate or the Gronk, you know, like the end of the game. Like there's, it's not
I
like
could at least say that was a fluke. If they lost like that, I could at least say, okay, they were the better team today. They lost on a fluke.
Yeah, and they've gotten smoked down there too. But you know, I don't put too much into that. Like I think there are no excuses for heat or for locations. You know, you got to win a game at some point, and you know, no disrespect to Buffalo, but like in many ways, I see this as their hardest divisional game of the year. And the road to the playoffs for me goes through the division. So, you know, they've caught Buffalo a couple times over the years. Granted, you might have needed a giant storm to do it, but
they've beaten Buffalo more times since Brady left than Miami.
Exactly. And you've seen them at least play better up there, you know, a couple years ago, returning the opening kickoff. And so you've seen some good production there. But in recent years down here, and even up here, a lot of times against Tua, as the results show, they just don't have the answers for him. So
I don't want to get anybody bummed out, but they are predicting thunderstorms this afternoon in Miami.
Yeah,
meteorologist.
Can that be my key to the game? No rain delays.
No delays.
No delays.
See some of those college games yesterday, like 2+ hour delays.
Oh man,
insanity.
Go up to a restaurant, Patriot Place, you know, get a drink. Something.
All right, let's look
at a drink before the post game.
That's a good idea. Actually,
hopefully we don't need it.
We're gonna get wasted. All right, so over unders. Let's get into them. Drake May passing yards. I know that our statistician here, Paul Perillo, is going to keep track of everything for me. 230.5.
All right, so just to recap here.
Yeah.
Last week.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, tell us. Yeah,
the newbie.
The newbie.
The newbie led the way at 4-2, followed by Mike and I at 3-3.
I'm honored. My head
I didn't go
is
2
gassed.
and 4. Thanks, Paul.
No, you didn't. I fixed it for you.
Yes. Your stats are
It was
correct
actually
in the
not
book.
Morel.
Against
It was not Morel's fault. It was LaPan.
The other Matt.
It was LaPan's fault.
We have like 3
so
Matts
Drake
here,
May was it 230.5? I'm taking the over on that.
Okay.
On that baby.
I did that. I actually picked all my picks ahead of time now.
Oh,
so
all right. Well, then
I also took the over.
You're taking the over. All right, I'm gonna keep it. I'm gonna keep the Drake positivity going.
3
I'll go
for
over
3.
too.
I love that. All
Well,
right.
you can look at that both ways. You can find a way to look at it positively or negatively. All you have to do
They're
is
down
ask,
big and he's got to throw one.
all you need to do is ask me. I'll find a way to argue either side.
The glass is half full or empty, depending on how you want to look at it. All right, Tua, 240 and a half.
I guess that's you, Kwani.
Oh, yeah, I'll start. You're snaking it, right? I'm going to go over.
You can go over.
Why not? Everyone's going to have a revenge game.
I can't bet against Tua. I mean, there's a big part of me that wants to say he's done,
Right.
but I can't do it yet. I'm going to go over 240.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm taking the over as well. Find it interesting that the number is slightly higher for Tua than Drake.
Just slightly. Yeah, are we all agreeing already? I love this. Right. How dare they?
Is it disrespect? I don't know.
Okay, next up we have Tyreek Hill, receiving yards 70 and a half. I am taking the under on that one. Oh, you, Paul?
I am going to go under on that as well because I have Tyreek Hill on my fantasy team, which means he'll go under.
Of course. That's usually how it works.
I'm going to make this one interesting, guys. I went over on Tua. Somebody's got to catch the passes.
No,
it won't
agree
be all
with
Waddle.
us.
I'm going to go Tyreek over 70.5.
Fine.
It's good and I'm rooting for Paul's fantasy team, too.
Yeah, we have to root for you.
Oh, thank you.
See, someone's in
I
your
lost
corner.
the game last week. I had a 93% chance of winning.
Oh, yikes. Okay.
Heading into the Sunday night game.
Not good. Ramondre Stevenson, rushing yards 40 and a half.
I guess I'll
back,
go first.
Just back to, oh, it's you?
Oh,
I don't know.
I lost track of the snake.
I lost track. I think it's you, actually.
All right. Well, I'm going to take the over on that. I think
Okay.
the Patriots will have more of a emphasis on running the ball, and he'll get more than 7 carries. So I think over 40 and a half yards.
While I do hope that they run the ball more, I'm going to take an under for him. Specifically. Sorry, Ramondre.
Yeah, I see it as a committee today, and I'm going to go with Travion Henderson being the guy who gets maybe a little bit more of the touches and the yardage. So I'm going to go under that for Ramondre.
Wow. All right. Next up, longest touchdown yards. It's at 33 and a half.
Oh, boy. Big plays.
Yeah. X plays.
I guess that's you first.
X
plays, as we've learned.
Over.
Over?
I want X plays.
Oh, boy. Big plays. I want to see Drake open it up a little bit. I think Tua's, pretty good at these, and I know it's been a while for Tyreek with a big touchdown like this, but I'm going to go over 2.
Okay.
I'm going to take the under.
Party pooper.
He's going game theory now.
Right, exactly. All right, finally.
Who are you, Hardy?
It's like, I'd offset the last one.
Total score, 43 and a half.
Oof. I guess that's, is that me first?
Yeah, you do it.
Yeah, I'm going to go over. I'm going to go over. Not much over, but I'm going over.
I'm going over as well.
I'm going to take the under.
You're right.
All right. I think one of these teams is not going to score very much today. I think it's hard to get the over
we don't know which.
all by yourself.
That's fair. You do have to stick to it.
I honestly don't know which one it's
You're
gonna
consistent, though. You're consistent with what you're saying. We appreciate that.
It's going to be funny,
I
though.
have definitively picked this game both ways.
Well, it's going to be fun watching it with you as it unfolds because you're going to, some team's going to score and you're going to
Just
be
what I
like,
thought.
Patriots blowout, and then the other team's going to counter and you'll be like, maybe not.
We'll see. We will see. All right, let's get into the Sunday six-pack.
This is the Sunday six-pack, so kick back and listen to my position. I'm itching to get the picks back. You better bring the picks back.
I like this.
Yeah, this is the Sunday six-pack.
All right, the Sunday six-pack. That was a jam. All right, of course, they did start with Giants at Cowboys, Dallas, under 4.5. Who are you guys
Giants
taking?
at
Do I go
Dallas.
first on this one?
All right, this is how we're going to do it. Paul's going to go first,
Okay.
then you're going to go first, then I'll go first,
And then we'll go
Paul
back?
go first.
Oh,
All
just
right,
a
so
circle.
Paul's
All
going to
right,
go
we'll
first.
keep it easy for you guys.
Oh, what happened last week?
So what had happened was
What happened?
What had happened was...
no one was very good last week, but
Yeah.
I was the worst. Kwani and Mike 3-3, followed by
down.
Paul in the basement.
So we were mediocre
2
as
and
well.
4.
Yeah,
Perfectly
all of us
adequate.
trash.
It's week 1.
We got to do better.
don't have
Yeah,
a feel
Picked
we
a
were
lot of
warming up
upsets.
as well.
Didn't get any of them.
Same.
There you go.
I was really close to a lot
We
of
were,
them.
yeah.
Didn't win any of them. Thus makes me a loser.
Just for last week.
Am I
just for
going
last
first?
week.
You're going to go first.
I'm going to go first.
Yeah.
I'm going to take the Cowboys at home to take care of the Giants, the offensively challenged Giants.
That is a fair
by
point.
by 4.5, more than 4.5.
Okay, I'm gonna actually just take the Giants. for the sake of this whole.
I see.
I'm sure there are a lot of Patriots fans that are upset with me being. But for the record, I've lived in New England for so long that I think I'm just a Giants fan to say it at this point.
Well,
I know way more about the Pats.
Because, I mean, they took 2 Super Bowls from the Patriots.
I know. That is true. That is true.
I'm gonna go with Paulie. No offense, Paulie. I'm gonna go with Dallas.
Not offended. All right, up next we have Seattle at Pittsburgh. Who are you?
You're up first.
I'm up first. Okay,
Pittsburgh by 3.
Pittsburgh by 3.
I'm taking the Steelers. Oh yeah, sorry, I've just fumbled on talking about what the.
Corny's got Pitt.
I'm taking Pitt.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a tough one here. The Super Bowl rematch from 2005. I'm going to go Pittsburgh too.
Super Bowl rematch from 2005.
A lot of the same players, schemes,
same coaching.
Yeah, I really like what Bill Cowher's doing. Secondary. I'm going to take.
That was for Fred.
That was good.
I'm going to take the Steelers as well. Am I believing that there might be some change in Aaron Rodgers?
I mean, like emotionally,
that's
like
how
he's
I
turned
felt
over
when
in
I
the
picked
league.
him last week.
He's sort of ingratiated himself with his teammates as opposed to,
It seems that way though.
lording over his teammates like he tried to do with the Jets.
Just wait.
Yeah.
Time will tell.
I'll tell you what I'm not necessarily a believer in is the performance. I know it was 4 touchdowns and everything looked great, but watching like the highlights and stuff, and it was some good stuff from Arthur Smith, but I don't think he played as well in the game as those stats would indicate.
Yeah.
I think he was, sort of, didn't move well in the pocket. Yeah. They dialed up some plays that caught the Jets, and they took advantage of them. But, I mean, it is what it is. 34 points is a good performance. And
that is a spoof one, especially because he was playing his former team, and you knew the bad blood that was there. So this is the second week in a row that I've made a Taylor Swift reference. And I catch myself after I make the reference. And I promise I'm not a Swiftie.
Yeah.
Missed the whole season. Played like crap. A lot of bad blood.
Exactly. Everyone, so up next
now it's really the rest of the schedule is just a blank space.
There you
go. Well done.
Paul.
I think we're all Swifties secretly, it sounds like. All right, Buffalo Bills at the New York Jets. Buffalo with 6.5.
Yeah.
A lot of points, douche.
That is a lot of points. Yeah. Buffalo, is there going to be emotional letdown after that? You know what? I'm going to say no, and I know that maybe goes against history, and it is the divisional game, but I'm going to go with Buffalo in this one. I think they win by about 8 or 9 points.
I think that's rational. I think a bounce back game. I'm with Buffalo. I have Buffalo chosen as well.
Yeah, I'm going to take the points with the Jets for exactly what Mike said. I think Buffalo wins the game, but I think the Jets keep it close. Division game at home. I think they'll keep it close.
Cool.
That's a good one.
Cool.
All right, the 4 p.m. games. We have Carolina Panthers at the Arizona Cardinals. Arizona with 6.5 points for that one.
Thanks back to you, Paul.
I'm going to take Arizona. I'll lay the points. I think the Cardinals are going to be a sneaky, competitive team that has a chance to steal a wild card in the NFC.
That's a good one. I also have the Cardinals. And also, I don't know, Carolina is not looking like a contender right now.
We got them coming up in a couple of weeks, right? Is that so? Yeah, I'm gonna go with you guys too. Panthers get off to a rough start. Cardinals.
Okay, up next we have the Atlanta Falcons at the Minnesota Vikings. Minnesota with 3.5.
Oh boy,
this is a good game.
Yeah, this is a good game.
Yeah, it is a good game. I picked Atlanta.
You're up,
but not really with.
20's got Atlanta.
Yeah.
Atlanta?
I think I don't know.
So J.J. McCarthy just had a baby this week. Well, his fiancée
he did.
Of course. But not a lot of sleep, but I still...
I love that he self-corrected himself. As if we didn't know.
I still I like what they did last week, and I think they got some good energy. Said this week I was a little jealous of the energy they got, and I think it's going to be good for them. They're at home. I do like Falcons, have some talent, but I'm going to go with Minnesota.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm going to take Atlanta.
ATL.
Kind of an emotional win. Monday night, road, short week. The stuff that you talked about only adds to that with J.J. McCarthy. Maybe the Vikings win the game because Atlanta finds a way to Atlanta it, and they just lose at the end. But I'll take the hook, and I'll say they lose by a field goal.
That's
Is that a 28-3 reference there, Paul?
Yeah, that was a nice verb. Yeah. English lesson.
How dare you, Mike? That's amazing.
Stonewalled.
How dare you?
I'm not the one that made a minor fortune on the misfortune of the Falcons, 28-3.
Minor
do you know that Mike is an entrepreneur?
No. You started a small business?
No, I had that 28-3 shirt. That was my.
You know that 28-3 thing?
That
was
Mike's.
You for real? That was Mike's idea.
For real.
Do you need a manager?
I could have used one back in 2017. Those
Too
days are
late.
gone.
They're still selling them outside of TD Garden. I think you could get a cut from that.
Rip-offs.
All right.
Rip-offs.
I want
I
to
just
cease and
snitched by
desist.
mistake.
What are we doing?
If you want the original, go to Pat's Propaganda. You can get one there.
That's propaganda. That's the real one, the OG right here. All right, last but not least, of course, New England Patriots at the Miami Dolphins. Miami with 1.5 points.
Who's up? Me. Shoot. All right, I got to lay the gauntlet
You
down.
gotta
Yeah,
pick
so I
first.
came up with like a crazy game.
I want your game to come so bad. I want it to come true. I just
the
want that to
Dolphins
happen.
are up 21-14 at the end of the game. Drake leads a drive. They tie it up. It's 21-20. What do we do? Mike Vrabel gets aggressive. He goes for the 2-point conversion, and they get it with Drake May. Holds the ball for a second, rolls a little bit right, fires a blast right back to Mac Hollins. 2-point conversion. Patriots win. Huge win. They storm the field. Cats and dogs living together. There'll be
hysteria.
Mass hysteria.
Literal cats and dogs are
I got a little
raining.
carried away with that game prediction, but I like the Patriots somehow to pull this one out. But I think it's going to be a tough one. So I'll take the Pats.
I didn't have a dramatic ending, but I'm taking the Pats as well. I like yours, so I'm just going to co-sign.
Yeah, so I'm going to be fully upfront with everybody.
Oh,
I am
gosh.
the ultimate fraud this week. I am all over the map on this game. You guys, if you listened on Thursday, I took Miami.
Mm-hmm.
If you listened on the TV show with All Access and Patriots on TV, I took Miami. I'm taking the Patriots today. I just think as the week has continued to progress, I am just not believing that Miami is focused and ready to play. I think that they're on the verge of completely and utterly quitting on their coach. And I think that's enough to get by down there. If everything were equal, I think Miami would win the game. But I'm being a fraud, absolute fraud, and I'm taking the Patriots to snap this streak, and I'm going to go 27-16 New England.
That was an emotional roller coaster of you explaining your answer.
Because I'm telling you, I'm being disingenuous.
He's in it.
I've picked them all. I've picked this game both ways, and when the game is over, I'm going to say, see?
I told you so. This is why we need you.
This is what you really, in all seriousness, you shouldn't do this. And some people do it a lot. I'm not proud of myself, was my one again. This is me opening up to you, my fans.
A man of the people.
Our listeners. I would not suggest doing this. Have some conviction. I have none this week. I have absolutely no conviction.
Yeah, that's emotional instability.
But I'm going to take the Patriots to win this game.
Yeah.
27-16.
Okay.
Yeah. I think part of it too, Paul, is just this is such a new team. You don't know what you're going to get from
I
them.
don't know what I'm going
You
to
don't
get.
really know.
I'm thinking of your. I don't even know what I'm going to get out of myself. How can I know what to expect out of the team, Mike? I'm disgusted with myself.
Thinking of your Fred quote when we talk about bets, and you're like, and for like 10 seconds, he's tortured. And then he comes out with like,
that was
2-touchdown win.
Right.
He would talk about it. He goes, I'm worried about TJ Watt coming off the edge and like disrupting this game. And they have so many weapons to deal with. Patriots 34-11. That's how he would pick the game every week.
Oh, that's hilarious. That's stressful. All right. Well, I have one more email I'll read before we close out. It's from Hampton in Charlotte, North Carolina. It's a little dramatic. That's why I wanted to read it. Pats have been a get-right game on the schedule for every struggling team in the NFL for the last 3 years. It's gotta end. That's how he wrote it. I have to give justice to Hampton's email. Hopefully today they get right against the Dolphins. Final reactions to that?
No, it's a good opportunity for the Patriots. Like I said, I think there's not really going to be much middle ground, but we'll take that as it comes. And you just hope you see some strides on the defense, preventing the big plays. I think that would be just a great first place to start. Don't let them hit those big plays. We've seen plenty of them against Miami. A lot of times it's not the bombs over their head. It's just a little slant that they catch, and then they break a tackle, and they're off to the races. So that for me, and then just getting into a rhythm on offense and establishing that and getting Drake comfortable. And if he's able to hit those easy throws and you get the run going a little bit and you're balanced, and now all of a sudden you've got play action is working and you're dealing a little bit. I think kind of to the point of last game, I never felt fully like the Patriots were really dealing from a position of strength. I felt like they were executing some plays, sure, but did they really get the momentum going? And maybe
it's like when I said I don't think he was quite as good in the first half. That drive after the Geno Smith interception was excellent. I thought he looked like he was in a rhythm. I thought Drake was, it was a combination of McDaniels. I think that the play to Hunter Henry happened in that, when he down the sideline for like 27 yards. Then he ripped the one to Booty that he put on his back hip intentionally because he wanted to keep him out of that hit. Booty ends up breaking a tackle for like another 25 yards where it looked really, really good. The field goal drive, I'll call them the 2 field goal drives, the one that they missed and the one that they got, one of them was aided by a really questionable pass interference call. They would have turned the ball over on downs at midfield. I didn't think it was as good in the first half. That drive was what I think you're hoping for, but I just didn't see enough of it. Want to see a little bit more.
And we will see what we will see coming right up in this game. But before we go, football fans, you know that traditions matter. Turning moments together is into truly something epic. There will inspire us to make our masa and Tostitos the traditional way, starting with whole corn kernels, no artificial flavors, colors, or preservatives, all that to give you the perfect crunch. Discover your next tradition this football season. You can head to the store, grab your Tostitos team bag, and scan the code for a chance to score an epic experience with the Patriots. Tostitos, tradition matters. Oh, that's all for our Patriots pregame show. For Paul Perillo and Deuce, I'm Kwani Lunis. Make sure you come back here after the game for all the live reaction to what happened. Thank you for watching.
Hey, this is Evan. Thanks for tuning into the show. If you really want to help us, make sure to like us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. Also, make sure to follow on the New England Patriots YouTube channel to see this show and everything else we do here at the Patriots. Thanks a lot.